My name is Bobby Crittenden, and I am a Freemason. I was initiated in the Henry Barnes Lodge way back in 1969. If you're counting, that's 56 years ago. I started my first year as master in 1978, then 87, and then I think I was actually the last master at Henry Barnes before we consolidated with Newport and Robert Burns Lodge to become Trinity Lodge, and that was in, I think it was in 2019. And I am the current master at Trinity Lodge, which makes my fourth go-around. I was influenced by being a Freemason. My grandfather was a Freemason, but he passed away when I was only like 12 or 13, so I didn't really get to know him as a Freemason that long. My stepfather was a Freemason, as well as my brother was. My brother, unfortunately, got killed in a race car accident back in 1970, so I was only a Mason a year before he got killed. What I enjoy most about Freemasonry is the brotherhood part of it. I belonged to a fraternity in school, and I discovered at a very high school age what fraternities meant and what brotherhood meant. If I'm down, which seems to be more frequently than others, other times all I gotta do is pick a telephone up and call one of my Masonic buddies, and it'll pick me right up. I attend several Masonic York Rite, Scottish Rite meetings a month, and the influence of everyone there is just unbelievable. The fellowship and friendship you get. I've been to many lodges across the state and out of the state, and every lodge, I don't care whether they got a membership of 20 or 300, 400. I've never ever been in a lodge and felt uncomfortable. Like I say, the brotherhood is just unbelievable. It's an organization, in my opinion, next to none. When we first got married, 59 years ago, I was playing softball 4 times a week. But then when I gave up the sports end of it, when my kids graduated, I just kept going at it in masonry. Never stopped. Never have. Enjoyed every minute of it. If I could change anything about Freemasonry, I would say that we need to get back to conferring degree work rather than reading it. Not so much in our lodge. I've been very lucky. I've got an excellent corps of officers, and we memorize everything. But there's so many lodges that's not as fortunate as we are, and especially in the York Rite. But I know this is not a York Rite subject, but especially in York Rite, we read work instead of conferring it, and I am strongly an advocate of conferring work. Ritualistic work to me is it's just something that no one else has. As far as masonry goes, you go to these other countries, and masonry is not like it is in our free USA. We can walk around here with rings on. We can display signs on our cars and have meetings in public. And in most of these other countries, you can't do that. And I know this is kind of off the subject of what would I change, but if I could change anything, that would be the one thing I would change is, guys, let's get back to memorizing and conferring the work and impress the candidates, because, I mean, face it, the candidates are our number one main reason why we've got the fraternity is to take men and make them better men. Barnstormers, degree team. Barnstormers was formed, I don't know, at least 60 years ago, because I've been in the lodge for 56 years, and they was going strong then. The reason, of course, why they got the name of the Barnstormers, because Henry Barnes was a founding father of Henry Barnes Lodge. And it was nicknamed the nation's best degree team because probably back in the 50s or 60s, they was invited to perform in Washington. I believe it would have to be in the 50s for Harry Truman, I believe, when he was president. So they went to the nation's capital to perform the Legend of the Temple. I've been the director of the Barnstormers for over 20 years. I've been playing the role of King Solomon for over 20 years. and that comes from a rich tradition. I know we had a guy named Jerry Taylor, who's long past. Ron Parker, he was a King Solomon. Bill Lorenz and Nolan Rose were King Solomon. And as far as I know, that's the only people that was King Solomon besides myself that I can remember. So the Boy Stormers, we still perform in our own lodge. We don't really like to travel much anymore because there's so much equipment and paraphernalia that we must take with us. But if anybody's got an occasion to come and watch us, we should be performing in our own lodge sometime this fall. Have I developed friendship through Freemasonry? I have. From the very first day I walked into the lodge till 56 years later, I've developed, I would say, thousands, literally thousands of friendships. Like I say, I only knew one person when I went to the lodge, but from the very first day I went in, I've developed so many friendships, and unfortunately, so many of these brethren have passed. But the legacy that they have left is just, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I can pick the phone up anytime, day or night, and call one of these brethren, and I know they'll be there. And I'll give you a perfect example. 6 years ago, I wasn't feeling good at all, so I went to a heart doctor to get a stress test. And I went by myself because I told my wife there's no use going. Doctor came out and he said, are you here by yourself? And I said, yeah. He said, well, I need to talk to your wife. So he called my wife, Pat, and he said, hey, you need to get out here right away and bring your family with you. And she said, what's going on? He said, this was at St. Elizabeth and Fort Thomas. He said, we need to transport your husband to St. Elizabeth and Edgewood for an emergency heart surgery. He's going to need at least a 5-way bypass. He's completely clogged, and he's dying. So he's got maybe a 10% chance of pulling through tonight. So when I woke up, I didn't know it, but that night they took me into surgery probably about 7 or 8 o'clock that night, and oh my gosh, I don't know how many Masons showed up in support. I know Eric Creech, Billy Scoff, Jeff Smith. I can't name the ones that was there for my wife and my family, but that's what Masonry is all about, is picking the phone up and getting help, or just getting a word of encouragement from your friends and buddies. My legacy, legacy can be defined as different things. To the lodge, to my brethren, I would like my legacy to be left that I live by the golden rule. I try to treat everybody the way I want to be treated. As far as I know, I have no known enemies. Don't try to have any enemies. And maybe somewhere along the ways, I would hope to somebody to say, he was a pretty good ritualist. That's my legacy in the lodge. As far as family goes, oh my gosh, like I say, I've been married to Pat, my wife, it'll be 59 years coming up this August. I have 2 wonderful daughters. The oldest one she was Honor Queen and Joe's Daughters when we had a chapter in Dayton. My wife and I are both 50-year members of the Eastern Star. I have 6 wonderful grandchildren, all girls, and 5 great-grandchildren. And what makes you really appreciate what you have is my one granddaughter, her husband, name's Tyler Smith. He's actually took his enterprise degree in Frankfurt Lodge number 4, Hiram Lodge number 4 in Frankfurt about 3 years ago. And right after he took his degree, he took his degree like in May of that July, they lost the only boy in the family. They lost their son. He was 3 months old, our only great-grandson family. So he kind of put his Masonry to the side because everything that they've been through. But other than that, I just would like my family to think of me as a good husband, good father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and know that I want my girls and my grandkids to live to treat everybody equally, and that's the way that I have tried to live my life.